Hi everyone! Today I want to tell you about a fun thing that I have been doing for quite a while now. Roughly every 6 to 7 weeks, so kind of every other month, I go on my local BBC radio station and I share some strange, funny or just interesting stories I have found from around the globe. Now, before you start thinking this sounds kind of glamorous and you're picturing me in a swanky radio studio, I should just point out that I am by far and away not the only person who does this. This is a feature of a particular radio show on BBC Radio Cornwall that happens Monday to Friday with different people every week. I am just one of many people that do this. Also, I don't go to the studio to do it because it's the breakfast show and I have to be on air at 7:20 in the morning to do it. So if you're picturing me in a swanky radio studio, I can promise you that the reality is this. Right, okay, yes, I have some stories for you. I'm so tired. But I've mentioned on this channel before that I used to co-host a breakfast show on a very, very small local radio station. And so I'm really enjoying doing this. It's really nice to be doing a little bit of live radio again after such a long time. And also, although I do have to set my alarm for 6:45 a.m. just to, give me time to wake up before I have to put Skype on and be on air, otherwise I would just fall asleep in the middle of a story. I don't have to do a huge amount in order to do this. All I have to really do, besides get up early, is have a look online and find, like I said, some strange or funny stories from around the world, jot down some notes, send them to the presenter so that he knows what I'm going to talk about in advance, and then I go on air and I share those stories, and occasionally the presenter will ask me what I think about the main subject of the day, if there's something big in the news or if there's a subject they're discussing on the breakfast show, he'll ask me my view on it. And that's it. I do normally one story at 7:20 and then I have a little bit of a break where I do have to try not to go back to sleep, and then at 10 to 8 I read another 1 or 2 stories, have another chat, and that is me done. So yeah, it's pretty simple. All I have to do is remember that it is the BBC and I have to be on my best behaviour. You're live on the BBC, don't swear, don't swear, don't swear, Emma, please don't swear. But some of the stories I have found in the months that I've been doing this have really made me reach the conclusion that people are just weird. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm weird too. I actually think we're all weird. You watching this right now, I'm talking to you, you're weird. And I have talked on this channel before about the fact that I think people are a particularly strange breed, but I thought for fun I would find a few of the kind of stories that I find from around the globe to share on the radio, and instead share them here to prove my point that people are weird. For example, there is a man in Romania who has been left disfigured after taking part in a half-hour face-slapping contest. Yeah, according to this is an actual sport that actual adults do for actual fun. I also found the story of a man who became so stressed with his everyday life that he applied for an arts grant, had some prosthetics made, and spent 3 days living as a goat in the Alps. Yodelay-hee-hoo. And of course, there is the man who has an actual Guinness World Record for having the weirdest diet after, over the course of 2 years, he consumed a plane. Yes, that's an aeroplane. The things that fly in the sky. He ate one. Yeah, I'm not that hungry right now. I don't think I could manage a big meal, but maybe a small snack. And yes, that last guy that I mentioned, I read a little bit more about him, and it turns out he was diagnosed with an actual condition that made him crave consuming non-food items. So, you know, maybe that's a pass for the whole eating transport. But I'm just gonna stick with my original assessment and say that I think people are weird. And I'm kind of the opinion that if you're watching this thinking, well, I'm not weird at all, you're the weirdest of us all. But yeah, I just wanted to share this fun thing that I've been doing, and also, if you have found any strange stories from around the world, please do mention them in the comments, because, you know, that will save me some research time next time I'm asked to go on the radio. I might just, you know, nick one of your stories instead. So let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. You can click on my floaty head if you would like to subscribe, and last week's video is over there. I am off to enjoy my own personal brand of weirdness, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye!